Back to the show this Wednesday evening with the Country Boy. That was Randy Ross, a Nashville-based singer-songwriter and blowing dust, and he joins me in the studio with his partner in crime, Brandon. Lads, you're very welcome indeed to Donegal and indeed up to the station here. How are you all keeping?
Oh, we're doing great. Donegal's been amazing.
You guys have been here for the last week performing around the county. I believe you started up in Kilcar last weekend, was it?
That's right, yeah. I had a couple shows up there in Kilcar and then Carrick. Well, actually, Carrick, then Kilcar. Then after that, we came to...
we played at the Cottage Bar.
Right, Cottage here in Letterkenny.
And then we went to Joyce's in Carndana. And that was a lot of fun. When we were leaving Letterkenny, they said, bunch of tough lads up there in Carndana. And the first 5 minutes we were in the bar, there was already 2 fights. So it was a good time.
Come here. Is this your first time to Donegal or to Ireland even?
Yep. Both of us first time over here in Ireland.
Yep.
How did it all come about?
So, me and Amelia's right outside the studio. Y'all can't see her, but we were coming back from Europe a few years ago, and there was a guy in the airport that kind of just looked a little lost. And so me and Amelia, we just came from a country where we were really lost. So we got this guy, helped him out get an Uber, and let him use our phone. And it was my buddy Sean Campbell, and he runs the Country Music Festival in Kilcar. And so we just became fast friends, and he kind of just helped us along the journey, just telling us good places to play and where not to play and stuff like that. It's been a great time.
Yeah, I know Sean well. He's a good promoter of country music,
Yes.
and I know he's a friend of Mo Pitney's as well. Tell me a little bit about yourselves. Do you both come from the same area, or did you meet up in Nashville, or where are you from, and how did you meet up?
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, actually. Brandon's from Alabama. We both just happened to move to Nashville around the same time, and we met at songwriter nights and bars, just hanging out around Nashville, and similar story, became pretty fast friends. And, you know, at that time we were both had a lot different styles. Some might say worse than we were today, but we had something about each other that we liked, and so we just started doing stuff together, and that was 7 years ago now. So here we are in Ireland.
Amazing. It's a great town for songwriters. I remember the first time I went out to Nashville, you know, we were down the city one night and we were coming back, and I seen all these photocopying shops open late, and I said, what are they open at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? Somebody said, that's in case a songwriter gets an idea, and he might have been writing at home in his apartment on a piece of paper, and he said, we'll go down there. You know, it seems to be all about that. It's there's some songwriters in Nashville these days, isn't there?
Absolutely. The songwriting is still huge. I mean, that's the scene that we've always been mostly a part of as songwriters ourselves, and it hasn't slowed down a bit. I mean, there's probably 100 writers' nights any given night in town. You can go see some really good songwriting.
Yeah, and it's amazing too. You know, you could be there for a long time, and you could be there 2 or 3 years, and you could write the exclusive hit song that somebody picks up and that you're made, or you could be writing there for 20 years. And a lot of people would have even leaving it because they might have given up on it.
Yeah, people call it a 10-year town, in that you have to be there for at least 10 years before you can really become known and meet the right people and find what your niche is. I mean, not everybody does the songwriting thing. There's people that want to be sidemen, so then they'll go play on Broadway and meet all the people that, know the people that tour a lot with the bigger artists, and that's their thing. Some people want to write songs. Some people want to produce. Some people, they start out doing all that stuff, and they end up opening great bars that become a great community for the musicians in town too. So kind of everybody, it takes you at least 10 years or so to find out what your thing really is in Nashville.
And when did you decide first, Randy, to head up to Nashville to do the songwriting? Was it a big move at the time for you?
Oh yeah, I was 20 years old. I think I was almost 21 when I moved there. I still had my fake ID. Couldn't get into bars without it.
Oh, don't tell me about it.
But yeah, I was 20 years old. I was pretty young and naive, and I was just sick of Phoenix. I felt the need to leave and kind of did it on a whim. I just decided one day that I was going to move to Nashville, and 3 days later I packed up my van and moved there.
What about yourself, Brandon?
Yeah, I think I was 23. I just got done wrestling in college in the St. Louis area, and I had a teammate from college that moved down there, and he offered me a job one day, and I asked him how fast I could make it down there. It ended up taking about a month, but I was ready to leave that night. And I think me and Randy met probably like 2 or 3 months after I made it into town in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you tried pitching any of your songs to any of the established artists, or are you just doing demos on your own songs?
We both pretty much operate independently. There's ways to try to get into like the publishing company scene, and that's a whole different ball game too. But yeah, we pretty much just do independent stuff. But I mean, we're always playing around town, and so if anybody ever hears one of our songs and wants to record it, that would be fine by me.
Where in town do you play down Broadway? Where any particular venues? Where do you play in town?
We kind of play all over, but our main thing is we play every Saturday night when we're in town at a bar called Bobby's Idle Hour. That's our favorite place. It's been a well-known songwriters establishment.
I think I know it
for about 40 years now, and it's moved around a little bit, but it's still right there on 16th Avenue amongst all the record labels and publishing companies and stuff like that. Yeah. It's a great place to hang out.
They wheeled the bar down the street from the old location to the new location, so it's just a block down the street, but it's a great place. We love it.
I hear you mentioning 16th Avenue, and I think of Lacey J. Dalton.
Oh, yes. That's a great song.
Please.
I had to laugh once or twice when I was out on holidays there. I was walking down it, and every time I come home, I say, do you hear that song, 16th Avenue? I was walking on it there.
Walking down it.
Come here, you have your guitars with us. Will you give us an old song?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll go ahead. This is a song that I... on my last album that came out last October. The title of the album is Won't It Be Grand, but this song is written by my great friend and mentor, Raymond Sisk, and he was nice enough to let me record it. He was somebody that I learned a lot from, actually at the old Bobby's Idle Hour when I first moved to town. But anyways, this song's called Cried Like the Rain. Never knew that I could hurt so bad until you took away that sweet love we had. Now I know I'm never gonna be the same. Had it coming to me, yes, that's true, 'cause I've handed out a tear or two when you left. Girl, I cried like the rain. I didn't cry like the rain in the spring with the feeling of a healing vein. No, no, no. I didn't cry like a shower on a summer day, cooling down a country lane. No, I cried like the rain from a hurricane. Thought that you and I were doing all right, but I was totally surprised that night when you said goodbye. It hit me like a runaway train. As I was watching you walking away, I couldn't find a single word to say, so I hung my head and I cried like the rain. I didn't cry like the rain in the spring with the feeling of a healing vein. No, no, no. I didn't cry like a shower on a summer day, cooling down a country lane. No, I cried like the rain from a hurricane. I didn't cry like the rain in the spring with the feeling of a healing vein. I didn't cry like a shower on a summer day, cooling down a country lane. No, I cried like the rain from a hurricane. I cried like the rain, yeah, from a hurricane.
like that
It
one.
is.
What about you,
Thank you.
Brandon? Not to be outdone. What about yourself?
Absolutely. I know that Nick Munn's listening back in Tennessee, and he's always liked this song, so I'll play it for him. It's called "Crying All the Way." It's on my last album, Long Gone. Well, I've been on this road for so damn long. It's just another town, it's just another song. And these wheels are as wore out as my soul. The hearts I broke and the tears I stole. And these roads, they remind me of you. I'm hoping these miles will tell me what to do. 'Cause I was crying all the way to Birmingham. I wanna show you who I really am. 'Cause these tears get overflowing you down. Yeah, I was crying all the way to Birmingham. Well, no matter how far that I drive, it's hard to keep it straight with these tears in my eyes. And my heart is the brake, my fear is the gas. Well, my fear took over and I drove right past. And I never thought I'd leave you behind, without even calling, without even trying. And these roads, they reminded me of you. I'm glad these miles told me what to do. 'Cause I was crying all the way to Birmingham. I'm glad I know just who I am. 'Cause these tears get overflowing you down. Yeah, I was crying all the way to Birmingham. Yeah, I was crying all the way to Birmingham.
I like it. I like it indeed. You
A
were
lot of
mentioning.
Yeah, I guess so.
You were mentioning that song is on one of your albums. For anybody out there who might be interested in any of your albums, like for independent artists, it's not that you can walk into a record shop now and buy albums. Not that there's many record shops now, but how
Yeah.
would people get your albums? Do you go on Spotify or have you a website or?
Yeah. Both of us are on Spotify and iTunes and all that good stuff. Pretty much any streaming service. As far as website, you still have the Farm Tapes website, right?
I do, yeah. So, I mean, of course, Randy Ross on Spotify, Apple Music. Mine's Brandon Brindley on the same things. I also have a BrandonBrindleyMusic.com that you can find T-shirts, merch, and then we do some albums every couple years called the Farm Tapes, and you can find those on there as well. And that includes several different artists. So the last one we just did is me, Randy, our buddy Nick Crook, and Eric Lambert. So we go out there to the farm, which is actually Nick Munn's farm that I was just talking about, and I think we recorded 14 songs in about 24 hours or so. We were up all night, all morning, and it was a lot of fun. So you can listen to that too.
And come here, back a couple of years ago when the COVID came in, how did you manage? Did you write songs during that because you probably couldn't perform as much?
Well, yeah,
that
that
time.
was how the farm tapes when we just released was volume 2. The first one happened because of COVID. COVID happened and Nashville shut down, and excuse me, we knew Amelia's family had this big farm down there, and thought we might be able to get away from the city and being stuck in a little apartment or house, or there was a bunch of us that went down there, and we just started writing songs. I was the one that brought a couple microphones along and was like, hey, let's just record whatever we write down here. And we thought we were going to be there for 2 weeks, but it turned into like 2.5 months, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You might believe this now. I'm just after getting a text in from one of my listeners and says, Tommy, your guests are great. Why don't you join them and give us a song? I don't want to show them up. Anyways, come here, I tell you, as you mentioned, you were doing a few gigs around the country, and you're coming up to one of my favourite spots next weekend, up to the Beehive in Ardell over there with Pat McGill. Have you been to the Beehive before?
Nope, first time.
Well, you're in for a real treat. It's a great wee venue for a gig.
Yeah, we're excited.
We're the most excited.
How did you come in contact with Pat? Or
So I think Sean Campbell, he put me in touch with Pat, and so we set up a show with him, and we're really excited about that one because we actually followed some bands. I take everybody's tour poster I see, I take a picture of it, and I think a Nashville band was just over here a couple months ago, the East Nash Grass.
That's right, they
And,
were actually
they
over
were there,
they were over there, yeah.
Kind of gave me the spur to let's try to figure out some places they played, and let's go talk to some of those bar owners and stuff, and that's how we came into contact with Pat. And then he mentioned you, but I think we were already in touch with you previously before then, so
Yeah.
seems like we were in good company there.
Don't know about that. As long as I don't sing with you, that's the main thing. And when do you head back home?
On Monday.
Yep, Monday. We have 4 more gigs this weekend, starting tomorrow, and then back home on Monday. And I'm not saying I'm not looking forward to going back to Nashville, but I love it here in
I'd love to
Ireland,
go.
man.
Can I go with you instead?
Yeah.
Love it here in Ireland so much. It's going to be hard to leave.
Yep. So
Can I ask you individually now, who would have been influential? Have you any favourite singer or songwriter that inspired you to get into it?
For me, my 2 biggest heroes are Merle Haggard, who a lot of people know of. He was world famous in his time, but the other one who's my other biggest hero is definitely Jerry Jeff Walker. He's a Texas guy, singer-songwriter, and just a big inspiration to me as far as the way he operated, the way he made his albums, not only writing his own songs and including those, but a lot of his friends that maybe didn't have the recognition they deserved as songwriters in their time, recording their songs and bringing them to as many people as he could. That's the kind of artist I want to be in my music career. So he's a big inspiration.
Yeah, there was a
Jerry
great
Jeff.
song I love of his. It was called Because of You.
Oh yeah.
It's a lovely song. What about yourself, Brandon?
as far as musical influences, I'm kind of all over the place, but I like a lot of Jimmy Buffett. If I go in the car, I'm putting Jimmy Buffett on more than likely. But I also like Merle Haggard and all those guys as well. But everyday I'm listening to Jimmy Buffett. Now, I don't think he's necessarily influenced my songwriting, but
Yeah.
I love his style and I love what he did. Honestly, most of our friends that we play with in town, they're so good. There's so much inspiration going around a bar on Saturday night that, I mean, you hardly need to turn on the music to get inspired. You just listen to all your friends playing, and it's a good thing to be around. Everybody's kind of helping bring each other along.
Yeah, you mentioned Jimmy Buffett there. I had a friend of mine on here on Friday night. He was in Nashville, but he moved back to Texas, a guy called Randy Seymour.
Oh yeah.
And Randy just brought out a new song called the Jimmy Buffett song. And I think the guy who produced all Jimmy's stuff helped him do it. Have you ever come across a guy called Scott Southworth over there? Scott would have been a regular visitor to Ireland over here. He's a songwriter. He used to work in WSM, but he lives just outside Nashville at the moment. Have you ever come across him? He's a kind of an indie country.
I don't think so. The name doesn't quite ring a bell for me, but I have to check him out for sure.
Yeah, check him out and tell him you were talking to me.
Yeah,
He'll
yeah.
get you places.
That'll be awesome.
So come here. Will you give us another song before I let you go?
Sure.
Each of you.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to go ahead and play one, Randy?
Yeah. I'll do one of my songs from the farm tapes. This one is me on the pen. I actually wrote it with Brandon and our other good buddy Brett Pennington back in Nashville.
Yeah.
It's a song about this Arizona legend that I've been obsessed with since I was a kid, the legend of the Lost Dutchman's Gold. If you're looking to learn some Southwestern history. Give that one a Google. It's very interesting. But here's a song we wrote about it. It's called Wiser and Waltz, and those are the two guys' names. That one of them was the Lost Dutchman, one of them was his partner, and they're the guys that found this gold. And here it is. Wiser and Waltz went to the superstition, chasing after a tale they were told. There was an old mine way up in the mountains, and they said it was bursting with gold. The path, it was narrow and all fraught with peril. They had no hopes of return. After 17 days on the brink of dying, the legend they sought was confirmed. Wiser and Waltz weren't the first to go looking, and neither could do it alone. What do you do when you get what you're after, and it's more than you can carry back home? Wiser and Waltz were delirious in the desert. They were drunk on the riches they'd found. But suspicions rise quick and fall just as swift as Waltz put a Wiser in the ground. Well, I heard this story when I was just a boy, and it was something that I couldn't forget. And I spent 18 years wandering through the desert, and I still ain't found nothing yet. Well, I'm not the first one that's come out here looking. There's many more out there like me. What if I ever really get what I'm after, and it doesn't set me free? Wiser and Waltz went to the superstitions, chasing after a tale they were told.
Love the story in that. It's great. But what I love about songwriters is there's great stories in the songs. I have a guy coming on now next week. His name is Jeff Baston. He's a singer-songwriter based in Nashville, and he wrote for Tracy Lawrence and a few others. But you know, the stories in the songs are great. I find a lot of the singers these days they all be about trucks or girlfriends and that, and there's no substance to the song. Randy Seymour was saying to me last week, if he could do one thing, he would put songwriting back about 50 years when, you know, you had the songwriters there, like, that puts a good story into a song.
Story's huge, and I mean, we're both big on storytelling in songs, and even if it's not a story, at least try to write about something that is something that you're feeling that people can relate to. I'm not big on the trucks and Daisy Dukes songwriting either, as you can probably tell.
Oh no, you're Brandon. What about yourself? Have you another one for us?
I do. So I'll do a song off the farm tapes as well. So Amelia, that's sitting right out there. This is called Amelia Part 2. There's also Amelia Part 1 out there. So
Do you mean there's two of them?
Yeah, well, the same Amelia, thankfully. So the first one I wrote the very first day I met Amelia, and then I wrote this and finished it and basically came up with it on the spot for the Farm Tapes recording. So the one you hear on the recording was the second time I'd ever sang it out loud and second time I'd ever really played it. Amelia Part 2. And the Farm Tapes Volume 2 is out there too if you want to check it out. It wasn't your pretty face, it wasn't your pink hair, it wasn't the way that you act like you just really didn't care. It was a ocean of your eyes, and I've been lost out here for a while. You always seem to pull me back in with just one simple smile. And I could be lost forever, and I don't think I'd want to be found. And this whole world could melt away as long as you are around, as long as you are still around. And it's a long road we're on, and you made the trip seem so short. I don't need to know where we're going. I don't remember life without you, and there ain't no end in sight. And baby, we got some good things on the horizon. Baby, we got some good things on the horizon. Well, we got a blonde-haired baby, she's got blue eyes like you, and there ain't a mountain in this whole world for y'all I wouldn't move. Yeah, our little girl's growing up, and I'll miss her being small. And I hope one day when she moves away that she still thinks to call. Well, I hope she's tough like me, like you I hope she's smart. And may you always chase your dreams and listen to your heart, and listen to your heart. And it's a long road we're on, and you made the trip seem so short. And I don't need to know where we're going. I don't remember life without you, and there ain't no end in sight. And baby, we got some good things on the horizon. And baby, we got some good things on the horizon.
I like it. Amelia, watch him. He's in a funny old mood, you know. It must be love. It has to be love. Lads, thanks very much for calling up to see me. It was a pleasure meeting you, and
Thanks for having us.
wishing you all the best up in Ardra and on the rest of your gigs as well. And maybe the next time you're back in Ireland, or you can let me know where you're going to be in Nashville, and if ever I'm out, I'll look you up there again.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks very much for calling in.
Thanks for having us today, Tommy.
Absolutely.
It's been very fun. We've had a great time.
Right, going to have a quick ad break.
All right, thank you guys.
There are silent